Alexa, play Vaughan Williams. Alexa, next. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. Oh, what am I going to do? With you in a second. Hello, good afternoon. I've got a dilemma, guys. A big dilemma. Well, what happened is, I thought I'd plug my phone into charge, and seemingly it hasn't. So, this may go off at any point. I'm trying my best to sort of charge it up, but I only have 50 minutes and it's getting on a bit, my phone. I need to buy a new one. So if I disappear, I do apologise, because it zaps you. It zaps you doodah, this, doesn't it? Anyway, I do need this. I do need it, because it's like yet another change. I had a smashing little meeting with one of my DT colleagues. So exciting, all these things that are coming up. There's so many exciting things coming up, so many exciting things that we're going to do. I've just got loads of different things. I'm booking lovely shows for a Chanda and stuff. So, and I'm just really proud of how use lot sounds rude. I'm going to use these sheets that I did in my live Skypes today. You know, where I just want to show you. I didn't finish that one. Just a couple of them. That are getting to be the most popular. So I haven't finished them all, because I think sometimes they don't need it. But I might do that today. But I like this being unfinished, because I can always go back to it then. And there's another one, quite a busy one. If we were going to do a book cover, I think I'd have to have that as my book cover. And then this is one that we did the other day, which everybody's loving and liking. And then this one is what I did yesterday in between my live shows, my Skype shows. So I've not finished, so I'm going to finish that this afternoon. I will go in my room, my phone allowing. So yeah, I've been very, very, very. See, I'd love to do them on these with my pens and stuff. And oh, I know what I forgot to get out. Oh, blooming heck! Maybe I could go and get them now. Stay there. Stay there. No, I'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. I've got something great that we've all got. Yeah, somebody's asked me about making a book, and then someone else said about me making a video, and I'm like, sounds interesting. Now I've noticed that this paper is different to the other paper, so you know, you've got to react differently to this paper, which is good. But I think being able to use different paper is really important, because then when you come across them yourself. So let's have a little bit of hello to everybody. Good afternoon, Hilary, Jan, Sonia, Sally, Louise, Karen, Shirley, Dawn, Linda, Susan, Jill, Sarah, Deb, like groupies now, aren't we? Marjorie, Jude, in the nicest possible way. Ruth, Leslie, Jane, Sarah, Sheila, and Marie. That's one of my family members. Hilary. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed them. The product's brilliant. You don't need anything. Natalie, Sheila, Sandy, Serena, Liz, Sarah, Karen, Fiji, Jan, another Jan, Jane, Louise, 2 more Louises, Shirley, Philippa, Natalie, Becca. Oh, another Jane, Jane France, Dinner, hello Dinner, Yvonne, Sarah and Jan. Right, Dinny is wonderful. She's a very talented lady on the Dutch team. So she's very, very good. She works with Daniel Smith and Kopic. So, yeah, she's absolutely brilliant. Hi, me. Now, I'm not to Angelina, or whether that's Angelina, but Angelina. So I thought we're going to go back to basics a little bit again. Pattern shape building. I really enjoyed some of the patterns and shapes that you were bringing yesterday, and I just thought we could do simple shapes that build on different things. So we could use simple shapes in, you know, stencils and use that. But it's just going to be simple shapes. Now, I do apologise if the phone goes off. Yeah, your moodlers. Can't wait for today work. Oh, no pressure, Sheila. Gee whiz. Oh, and I poked myself in the eye with my mascara. That didn't help. So I was trying to get it and I've got a black eye now. Linda. Anyway. So I'm going to bring it forward. I'm just going to move that down because it's a lovely looking ceiling, that, isn't it? It's a lovely ceiling. Right, turn you around so you can see this. I'm just going to bring you forward so that you're right in the middle. How are we doing with that? You're quite low there. Is that all right? Or would you like to be... Give us a thumbs up if that's okay. And if not, I'll move it higher. Higher, lower, higher. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Linda Jane. Right, okay. We're getting... The numbers are coming in now. And I mean that in a nice way, not... a sort of, oh, I want numbers. I mean it in the sense of, you know, people are coming in and are here now. Can I recommend to you these? I haven't got them all right because I've left them. I use them at a Chanda and I've left them at a Chanda and I'm really annoyed because I want them here. And the Phil Martin, his tools are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now, all my tweezers and that, I'm gutted because they're at a Chanda because I've left them there. I have got some here, but these are so cool. They're dangerous, these, but good. Dangerous, good. Yeah, he gave me these, and I'm just over the moon with them because they do everything and more. Absolutely brilliant. The Phil, I always want to say Phil Collins. I know he's probably fed up with that as well. Oh, there's my ruler. So yeah, I've got those. Oh, I found my other pencils. Oh, I'm happy now. I'm happy. Oh, I'm happy. I found, that's why this is my Marlene bag. It's great, that, isn't it? Right. I can highly recommend those. I'll put a link later for you, but these, look at these here. Whoa. Oh, look at that. They're dangerous, them. Anyway. Just going to move these over. I just wanted to show you because whenever I get something really good, I like to tell you. How do you get them in? Oh, that way, innit? And they do need to be in here because they are pretty sharp. And then we've got these ball tools with the silicone erasers. That really good. Right, so how are we doing? Are we higher, lower, high? Hi, Denise. Hi, Marlene. Hi, Rizwana. Yvonne, Shirley, Sarah. Right, okay, Sue. Just saying along. All right, so if it goes off, it goes off. I do apologise. There's not a lot I can do. I'm just going to do some shapes. Right, so we've all been enjoying this wonderful pattern building, and it's ever so simple to do. It's really enjoyable, really, really just cool to do. So all you need is a pencil and a rubber, but I don't tend to use the rubber a lot. Some brushes that you're going to use if you so wish. You could use these, or you could... Where's my good pen gone? Where did I find one? Oh, crying out loud. Finer ones if you so wish. It's entirely up to you. You can use any sorts of brushes that you have got. They don't have to be just what I've got. And that's what this on Sunday is about. The colour masterclass is all about using your products, not mine. So just getting them out there while everyone gets settled. Right, hi Carol as well. So I've got a pencil as well. This is a Secura pencil and it's an 0.7. So it's got quite a large nib. And this one here is Papermate and it's an 0.5. Some tell you on them and some don't, but this should be an 0.5, I think, and it's snapped. It's on here somewhere. Yeah, it's just... oh, it's an 0.7 as well, so cool. Right, so I've got... You can get them mixed up. So, anyway, you can use this. I'm using... It's like an A5 sheet. Bit bigger than an A5, but not an A4. And I really enjoyed the shapes that we're going to get. So I thought what we could do is create, like... I really like this shape. Create a pattern that is similar to Exaggerated. Oh, it sounds silly this. I need to be able... You need enough room to move your paper. An exaggerated wood grain. Well, what do I mean by that? It's dead simple. So I'm just going to put in some of my circles. So can you see about being able to move your paper? So I'm just going to put in circles. I'll do 3 this size, on and off my page, okay, and then I'll do a couple that are a bit bigger. I'm just placing them anywhere. I'm not particularly, sort of worried. That'll do. I might maybe do a couple of teeny weeny ones there. And it's reminding me of a Japanese garden, in as much as the waves and oh, that's rubbish, it don't matter, you won't see it. You know, like the waves and watermarks are made with gravel. And the gravel's made very much by dragging a rake through it. So that's quite a nice idea. And I liked, yesterday doing Pentart shows, and I was showing you the way I get really nice patterns in plaster, just by using, oh come on, oh it's stuck on my book there, no wonder. Patterns in plaster just by using a rake along them. So, right. Got this. Are we all okay with this? Are we all right? Hi Roz, hi Kath. So I've got these here. Inside you make your own shapes, wibbly wobbly ones or whatever. I'm going to do them freehand. So first of all, get me the pencil and I'm just going to do wibbly wobbly ones. So again, the other day we did like the wibbly wobbly ones, so we had a pretty solid one, and then we'd have a wibbly wobbly one, and then a circular one. So we've got a basic pattern now. It's really simple to do. Don't be too precious. Like that. Right, okay, so we can fill these in later. Now the thing is, we're going to start from the top. I'm quite conscious that you won't be able to see this, so I'll move you up, she says. Hopefully you'll see a bit more, yeah. Sorry if you're feeling a bit sick. I might even work that way. Actually, I'll work that way. So I'm just going to put in a couple of shapes here because I'm missing a couple. It looks pretty sort of bare there. Right, I'm just going to go first shape, line down. And I'm going to follow some of them round. So I'm following the patterns. Round. Now, so we've got these patterns happening in and out of the circles. So we've got it's quite a strong pattern, this one today. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to strengthen up the lines now, and I'm going to normally use a 0.5. This is a pen, so it'll work the same. So I'm just going to strengthen up the lines using a pen. And this is where I can choose the lines I've drawn or change them. You don't have to be precise, as long as you know that the pen you're using is waterproof. So okay, so some of these we're going to do our wibbly wobbly lines over. As soon as you're happy with, have you got enough shapes, have you got enough patterns, use your pen. I'm using Securer because not only are they permanent, they're a nice width of nib. So you can match up different lines and add them whenever you want. Patterns should come naturally. You shouldn't try and force a pattern out. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. This should be about enjoying what you're doing. Not, making it so that you're forcing it out. So you look for anything that you've not done. Like here, I'm looking, do I need that there? I'll just put that one in. The small one, maybe one here. Like that. Okay, so now what I can do is put the dividing lines. Now I've noticed that they're a bit too angular for me. So I'm just going to follow some and not all of them and tweak them a little bit. So the first one goes in. So I'm going to make more of a feature of some of them. And at first it does look confusing because you think, well, which line is which here? But it really doesn't matter. It really does not, because we're just going to... And the idea of the wood grain and the Japanese gardens really came about because I was thinking, I love the way the shapes sort of form with the rake. So when I've got this, best bit, as always, is rubbing out the wrong lines. So rub out all the lines I don't need. Then I can see what I have got, because at the moment, like I say, it's misleading. It's very misleading, this, because you're looking at pencil lines and pen lines and you don't know which one, especially on the camera, because you don't know which one is the right line. So now you'll get to see what you've actually got, and it's not as confusing as it looks. So just be careful when you're rubbing out, because I rub out far too heavily and I end up like scrunching my paper up, so just be careful. Right, get rid of this because it's annoying. Now I can see where there might be some call for extra lines, patterns. Now remember, if you put colour on the top of a pencil line, you can't remove it because it's going to be permanent. So is that the pen? Yeah. So I'm looking at this now and I'm going to do some wibbly wobbly lines, and when wibbly wobbly lines just cross. So these are just crossing large areas and smaller areas. You might only want like really little tiny bits like that, and make that one. So this one's really bumpy, but I've put the other one in which is quite shallow, so it sort of regulates itself out a little bit more. Right, okay, so I'm happy with that. So we've got this now. Right, we've got Manna, Candy, Linda, Janet. Oh, just go for it. Hi Megan, hi Pam, Alison, Jeanette. Don't worry about trying to be perfect. Just use pots that you've got. Pots anywhere. Now I'm gonna add some quick colour. You can use your watercolours, you can use anything. I'm using my watercolours, I'm using my Pearlywinks, I'm using some inks by Pentart. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to go in with some bright colours. I'm going to use everything I've got. So the first colour, my favourite colour, is going to be the yellow. So Sunshine, and I'm just going to go with it, and I'm just going to put a little bit there like that, not a lot. Then, as always, wet my brush. Now this watercolour paper, this paper in this pad isn't great for watercolouring because it's mixed media paper, so bear that in mind when you're using it. So add a little bit to this, and this is where we bring in the two colours together and blend, and then again the two colours there and blend. Some paper's more absorbent, so what you'll get is a different reaction, but that works well now. I'm happy with that. So we've got a blend there in the yellow, and I love yellow. I think it brightens anything and everything. So I'm just going to go with, you see how porous this paper is? And you've got to remember that when you're doing your stuff, that, you know, don't kick yourself if your paper's sort of going a bit and your shading's a bit different. When you add stuff to it, it looks totally different once you've added stuff over the top. So here, what I'm going to do is just add water. And you can see this has got a different reaction because there's like a pooling of water just here. And you can see it's lifting the layers. So be aware of that when you're doing this. So now I'm just going to put a little bit down here. And I'm going to blend in the middle. Because it's already wet, I'm going to get a nicer reaction. And keep putting the water on because you're going to have to dry it. But it does dry a little bit lighter as well. Just be mindful of what is your favourite colour? Why do you want to use that? Is Is it why? Would you put, is your favourite colour too strong to be used in big areas? You know, just these little things like this. So now I'm just going to put more water on that. You can actually see it, how it's, let me just let me just straighten you. Never normally touch my camera, so I don't know what I'm messing about with today. So can you just see here, can you see the dimples? Well, that's the separation of the paper, so don't worry, it's all right. It's quite hard to blend. Well, this is like years old, this, so it's not to do with the fact that it's not watercolour paper, really is the problem. What you need is watercolour paper if you're using this, but if you don't have watercolour paper, you can still use it. It's just harder to blend. So what you can do is, if you've got another yellow that's lighter, you can always use that as well to blend in. So if you've got a lemon yellow, you could add that as well. So I've just put some water and I've blended that out. So I've got one area, two areas. Now I'm looking for another one. So I look at the areas. I've got one up here. I've got a big strong area here. I could use that big area there, but I think what I might do, don't know who that is, so I'm going to use 5 now. So put that one on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put a strong one here. And then dip my hand in it like I normally do. There we go. So you can see I've got this here, which I might just drop another little bit in, because it's starting to look a little bit blend it in. Right, okay, next colour. So I'm going to go with pink, and I'm going to keep the orange there. Now what I've done is I've chosen to do pink there, and again blend with some water, let that seep in, do a light colour around there, maybe a dark colour, all depends. If that's light there, what we could do is then put dark there, so that we've got balance. Doesn't matter if it runs, because that's quite nice. And then a little bit of light there, and drop a little bit more in just to blend it. Like I say though, this is not watercolour paper, so you're not going to get that wonderful effect. You're going to get quite a sort of patchy effect at the moment, but that's all right, because the paper and the doodles change all that later. So the two favourite colours I've got that take doodles really well, I've got on so far. I've got pink, well, a pinky red, and a yellow, a really warm yellow, like an egg yolk yellow. So just put that on there. I'll start to blend in a minute once I've got some more colours on. So I've got that there. I tend to do all the colours that I've got. So I'll do all my pinks, all my reds, all my yellows, all my oranges together. Then keep the colours on the table, because what I'll do then is mix and match them as I use them. So I'll mix the orange up by getting these two together, so I'll get a really lovely colour. So here I'm just going to dip that in there, and I'm just going to do it quite strong, because it's a smaller area, so I'll use a white or silver pen on it. The smaller areas like this, I'll tend to keep a little bit lighter. But once this is all dry, I'll put some more colour on and layer it up. So I'm just going to very gently put some colour in there and blend it out. You don't have to have strong colour everywhere. And the best way of shading really with watercolours is using water. So just fill in the gaps like that. Go down here. See, I don't like this bit here, so while it's still damp, drop some more colour in. And again, pull the colour out here. So I need it in threes. I tend to work better in threes. So here I've got 2. Some water. So let's think now, look at this now, and I think, well, have I got any pink over there? I need a bit here. So you can afford to put more of one colour down if it's your favourite. It's when it's not your favourite, there's no point in putting it on loads of it. So here, I'm just going to drop in some colour there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do me. I think I might break my own ruler and put another bit here. Right, in areas, I'm just going to mix the two together now. Just a tiny bit, like here. I'm just going to warm up this pink and make a really dark orange in areas. Not all over. Just to warm it up. So, and it will match because I've already got the colours there underneath. I've got the two colours together, so to speak, that I've already got on, so it will match. And again, you can see how, you know, unruly this paper is, but I don't care because, like I say, the patterning and the colour that I'm using on top with my pens and stuff will have a very different effect on it. So if I put the yellow down first and then drop the pink on top. But this is like your foundation layer, so don't worry. You don't need to mix these too well. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now what you can do is get a piece of paper that you're not using yet. And I'm just going to move that. I haven't got a water spray, I don't think. So I'm just going to go clean it up for the next one. Okay, so I've got that there. Pick this up now. And now I'm going to go in with some brights from Diary Evelyn's range. I'm going to use my watercolours from Jane Davenport in a minute. So here I've got Polished Jade, and I'm going to put some bright greens in. Now, can you see? It just pulls the colour straight in. So you do have to be really wary of the paper you're using. So if I was doing this again now, I'd do it on a different card just to blend it a little bit more. So I'm just going to plop a little bit out there, get my brush, just try and do a little bit more blending with it. Because now what we want is an unsaturated colour. So I'll leave that there. And let's see. So I'm just going to put on a little bit here. So just some water on all of it. So it's going to go heavy. And then blend it out a little bit. and again down here, all water. So put your water down first. I think that might be too much. Add your inks, or whatever you choose, your paint, blend. See, it's not blending straight away, so that shows you that it's... So a lot of people, when they get problems like this with the papers, they blame themselves, and it's not you. It's the actual paper you're using. So please don't, you know, think, oh, I can't do this. It's not actually you. It's actually the paper you're using. And if you get the right paper and, you know, spend as much as you can afford and no more. Don't, you know... but if you get the right paper, you suddenly find that all those things that you were really hard on yourself about were actually happening because of the paper you was using and not because of your talent. So I'm just adding a little bit there, taking a bit off my brush because I don't want it to go full in colour. There we go, that's better. Let the colour blend in on its own, and you'll get an unsaturated colour. And you know, this, I'm not happy with this because of the colour that was on my brush already. So what I might do is go back in with a full colour because it already had the colour in, and it didn't match too well. One of the colours that's really hard to match is a purple. It's terrible to sort of try and mix if you don't know how. So you end up with mud, and a bit more mud. So the idea is leave that till the very last. Now, in these areas here where it's dark, I'm just going to drop in a little bit more and really darken that and really blend it out. I'll get some watercolours and show you the difference now in a minute with watercolours as regards to paints. Right, so 1, 2, we need another one, so we'll do a blend. So we've got them. Now what I'll just do is, bear with me 1 minute. Ooh. She says. Now I can't find, bear with me, sometimes we're busier than others, aren't we guys, and then other times we're pretty quiet. So but I do notice, I think Friday and Saturday is your shopping day, so I've got these colours, and you'll see the difference in these when we use them as watercolours. So got some nice bright and bold, whimsy and bold, and I've got some beautiful Jane Davenport ones. I must admit, I love these colours because they're just... That's the wrong one. That's not Jane's. That's Jane's. It's weird that, isn't it? How you know? That's Jane's. They're Marlene's. Right, okay, so I haven't got my spray, but I'm just going to weight the colours a little bit. And normally what I would do is just spray these colours to weight them. So you get your little spray and just sort of, if you haven't got a spray, just dab water on them. I'm going to get something out tomorrow, some of the paints. I forgot to get them out before, but I'll get them out tomorrow. And it looks like my one day special might be changing again, so who knows. Right, I'm going to go with teal. So you can see, you put your teal on. It's very different watercolour to ink because there's a binder in it, and it allows you to sort of move it around a little bit more. So I'm just putting that there. Then what I'm going to do is put some water here. You can still see though, it's not easy to blend. There we go, we've blended that one out now. Put some water down here. There's nothing nicer than this, just allowing the colour and allowing the shapes. Let your mind just chill with it, relax. Don't think about anything else, just think about what you're doing here. Because once this is over, you can go back to thinking about all the stuff you've got to do, but not while you're doing it. Not while you're trying to relax. Because there's no point in doing it mindfully if you've got your mind on everything else. So I'm just allowing the water to just sit on the top for a little bit, then allow the water to just... I was watching a programme this morning about Travers, who did Pamela Travers, who did Mary Poppins. Very interesting life. Very interesting. She reinvented herself so many times, and it was, you know, a wonderful sort of story about how she just kept having to sort of reinvent herself. It was wonderful. And how in the end, when she was in her 90s or 80s, she actually said where it had come from, Mary Poppins, and it's so it's heartbreaking, but it's really interesting how where these literacy, I wouldn't say they're all genius, but a lot of the people who do these absolute massive books where they get their ideas from are now a bit like artists, you know, posthumously it all comes out. It's really interesting. And it was the film Saving Mr. Banks was about the story behind it, and that was very interesting as well. How the whole story wasn't about Mary Poppins, it was actually about her dad, Mr. Banks, saving Mr. Banks. So anyway, so I'm just bringing in some colour, and I'm allowing the colour to sit next to complementary. Now I'm going to go all into all this on Sunday. I'm not going to sort of mess about with it now because it'll be a bit too much to take in. And then I'm going to do a complementary, and then a split complementary, and triadic, and all this. So at the moment we're not concentrating on that. I'm just going to show you the colours. So here I've got a purple, and it's always best next to a yellow. But there's more yellow than there is purple, so that's good. And there's a reason for that. So just going to allow that to blend out a little bit. And again, if you want to create a watercolour, so you blend it out, and then don't waste this, just add it in. So that's a purple, we've got one. And don't be too sort of, oh, that's got to go here. Just put it down, just paint it. Alexa, what's the time, please? 12:48. Right, so while it's still wet, you can drop in blue, you can drop in other colours just to accentuate the blue side of violet or the red side of violet. Do you know what I mean? You can make it darker or colder or warmer, so to speak. So I'm just putting a little bit there. I'm going to have that quite bright because it's next to a cooler, unsaturated colour or hue. Just going to drop in a little bit stronger colour there, and next, again, next to the yellow, this smashing colour, blend a little bit and again a little bit more water in there. What we don't want is, if we can help it, is a really sort of thick, rugged line that you can actually really see. And if there is one, then just go back in with a little bit more colour and blend out, and you'll see that that'll disappear. So we've got 3 areas of that now. We're going to go in with I think a dark red. I always think dark red's a wonderful colour. I'm only using a bright red in certain areas because I think it could be too powerful. So it might be that I use it 5 times in and around these smaller areas. It's a powerful colour. A really powerful colour. So what you can do is, get away. And if you make mistakes, nobody knows, because you're drawing, painting over it, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put one there, because I think it needs one there. And then maybe one down here. Now if you want to blend, I don't want to blend this out, but if you did want to blend it, you'd use it the same way. I think I'll put, now I've got a warm red, which is a very much of what we call more of a blood red. So I'm going to put those in some of the other areas. That's it. So I've had the purple. Now let's go with a Prussian blue. And Prussian blue is a fantastic colour because it's like, well, it's one of my favourites, and I'm just going to put a line of it because it's really strong. I'm just going to add some water here because I want it to blend in a little bit more. And even though that looks all one colour, once that's dried, you'll see there is a big difference in weight of colour. I'm going to put these on YouTube later. When I get a little minute, or even a big minute, I'll transfer them to YouTube because I still can't do what I want to do just yet. I'm still waiting to get, I think I need 100 more subscribers, and then I can start the next part of my journey, which I'm really excited about. And like I said, if you want to create a wash first, then put your water down first, get your colour, add your water to your colour off the page, and then blend it on. And you'll get a better wash of colour. And again, don't worry about this where it's wet. You'll transfer shading and light to it. So we've got quite a large area of Prussian blue. I want to put some more areas in now, so I'm going to look for the areas that I think can take it. So I've got 2 dark areas there, so I'll have to be a bit careful. What you might want to do is, if you do, oh, I haven't got one, but if you've got a tissue, you can just wipe that off. Will my top do? Oh yeah, so use your top, maybe not. And then I'm just going to look for some so not too heavy, 1, 2, maybe this bit here. Now that went out of the line because there was a red underneath, but it actually, the blue covers it, and not only does it cover it, it gives it a nice purple tone. So we've got some nice blue happening there. Right, okay, what I'm missing now is some wonderful green, and I'm going to put in a bright green. This is like a sap green. And tomorrow what I'll do is I'll build one just on pure blending. Just pure blending. So I'll use watercolour paper and show you the difference between this blending and watercolour blending. You'll see there's a big difference. And it's like everything, unless you see it, it's hard to understand the differences and the reaction of the papers and how you might think it's your fault when it's not. So I've got, what I might do there, can you see that? I don't like that. So what I might do is add another line in it just to make it look like it's there, should be there. So I'm just going to bring in some green there. I really like that. There we go. So that's really bright, really powerful. The light blue there needs a bit more light blue, but I quite like it like that. I've left areas of white. If you want to, like I said yesterday, you can go in with areas of an off colour. So you could do beiges in here if you wish. If you wanted to do here, you could sort of get the really dark colour and just put in, drop in like little all along so that you know it's part of the same line. I'll only do it on this one because you might not want to do it. There we go. So this one's got like the purple line coming through it. Turn it round. Don't try with your hand to sort of go like this. Just turn your page. This one, again, I'm just keeping it to one colour. Ignoring the colours that are around it, so that when I go on with the silver and gold pen, I'm going to get quite a contrast. Now, if you do get a blob like that, if I put that on there and let it dry, I can draw another line. So there's ways round it all. So we've got a purpley one there. So here we've got blue, we've got all the primaries here. So if I was going to do one here, it would have to be something like a, this is from the Whimsy and Bright by Marlene, and it would have to be a secondary colour because it's next to two primaries. But it's just more cohesive then. But once you start doing this with colour, it becomes second nature. You don't even think there's rules, but there are rules. It's just you don't think about using them. You just use them. And then here we've got white there, white there. It's entirely up to you. We could leave that white. I'll personally see what it looks like. I think maybe we could do with, I'm going to go for, now Marlene's got this great pink and so has Jane. Now it doesn't help that I'm using a fatter paintbrush than I should. But it's because I'm lazy and I don't want to get up again. And again, because the colours are underneath already mixed, I'm getting shades. And if there's a bit white showing, just paint it in whatever you've got on your brush. Whatever you've got, like here, I'm going to need a dark blue. So just to give it a bit of, or you can leave it, you don't have to colour it in. Now one of the ways you can do is use the width of your paintbrush to create a wiggly wobbly line. So if you wanted to, it's a bit like your brush lettering where you take up your pen or nib and you press down so that you've got, I'll just try and show you. So you've got that line and then that. And that's how you create your nibs and flowers. And so you can see that's how you would create your flower shape. So if I was to do that in a get some more water on this. Not doing it too well, but you would just do that, and then you've got your nib, your flower petals, and then you could exaggerate. I'm not doing it very well, but you could do, and then when you're doing like wibbly wobbly lines, you can lift it and push it down like that. So you've got lots of different techniques. Let's go back to this. Right, I'm happy with this. This needs a quick dry, so I'm going to go ahead and dry it. Only quick though. I think I need something in there. It looks a bit... But what I could do, and what I tend to do, is I'm not doing it too much today, but I would get... I know VG asked me about this. Now you can go over and over, if you so wish, with your paints and your pencils, and all that, but I'm just showing you that if I wanted some more shading, that I'd go in with pencils now, and I'm not going to spend too long doing this. So what I could do is I would just use a yellow pencil. It's still too wet, look, can you see how it's pressing down? And I would go into it, blending. Oh no, it's still well too wet. It's ruckling the paper. So you would use the colours of the pencils. Let's see if some, maybe the orange, here we go. So when I've done this, I would get the orange pencil and just create shading with the orange. I'll try purple so you can see it. Right, here. So I just do one edge with it and then blend out. And because I've got that base of colour, I get a lovely blending shade there, can you see? So yeah, I tend to use both. I tend to use pencils, inks, just to give that, because I want it a bit darker there. I want this a little bit. Now I'm using these pencils from Bruns and Eel. They sold out last time, but they're so good. I think it's 15 quid for about 70 or 80, and I love them. Considering I use lots of different types, I wasn't expecting them to be as good quality as they are. Right, so I've got a little bit there. It's too wet, this. It's going to rip the page, but I'll just do this little bit here. No, it's still too wet, look. So you can blend even more, but I will show you, You just get carried away with the colours. Because even though the colour's slightly different underneath, it doesn't matter, you're colouring it in. No, it's wet. Right, so you need to dry that now, okay. Give it a good blast, and I'm not going to do too much because it'll ruin my pens, but in these here, the first thing I'm going to do is let's draw something that's so I'm just doing the circles like that, and then do your Moodle doodles inside. So I'm doing circles within circles and a dot. And I will just do this a couple of times in different places so that it looks a bit more coherent. So I've got that there. If I wanted to, hope this is working. Pens don't work. If it's the first time you see me, you'll notice that my pens don't work a lot. So I've got a white there. Oh, be the death of me, these. See if this one works. Yay! So, see, it's too wet. So I'm just going the inner circle. So as you can see, you cannot see the underneath colour much. It's now been overtaken by that there. So you've got that there. So let's go with, I don't know if this one will work. Spend my life just scribbling pencils. Drives me nuts. So got a little bit of gold. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to look for a place of high contrast, so I'm going to use this. So I'm just going to draw zigzags in this. Now you won't see much to begin with, but when you start with you've got coloured markers, Posca pens, all those work with it. So here I've got levels of high contrast where it's dark. You'll see the purple shining more. So I'm just putting a little dot, gold dot there. And then in the middle, a little white one. I don't want too much emphasis on it because I've got to go over it in a minute with something else. So you do need to maybe highlight some of these. So if I just show you what I mean, you can see colour now coming through, gold and silver. Yeah. So you do need a good pen. I'm going to use this one, and I'll just show you now by going over with my black. I'm now making more of a statement. So, and then around the circle as well. It's bringing attention to it. See, sometimes you can't always see the colour in it. So you need to bring attention by doing other colours. Let's do here, I'm just going to do different heights of like flower patterns, like little lollipop flowers. I'm doing 3s, 5s and 7s. There we go. So we've got that one there. I'm going to follow the next one, which will be larger areas. Like that. And maybe a smaller one there. followed by some little ones here. There we go. So we've got that pattern there now, which is quite nice, followed by that pattern. So if I do this one here, but this one now, what I could do is do it the opposite way. So it's pointing the other direction. Like that. So you've got the same pattern in different ways. I'm going to put in some checkers. Like that. I think these always look good. Again, I'm not too worried about colouring it in. So we'll look for something a little bit lighter where we could do that. So you've got these like funky patterns like this. So you could just go with simple shapes. You don't have to do all singing, all dancing, wonderful patterns. You can just do like simple patterns like that. You can just do so these are just like little dots, threes, different sizes. And then what you can do is get your pen again. This draws attention to the size, outlines them. And it makes it look a little bit more patterned. It's nice that now, so I'll just show you that. So you can see now how the pattern's built up and how, you know, you can do whatever you want now, and you don't have to rely on copying me or anyone. You can go out there and copy all the patterns and shapes that you like, anything that, you know, that grabs your eye. Onion shapes, they're brilliant shapes. Just plain circles, just little squares like that. That, you know, it's more or less finished now, that. But if you just remember that the rule is, well, my rule is I like to use odd numbers to decorate. So that's got in there, and then you can just add dots if you want. So that one, to me, that one's done now. That's all done. All I would do now is transfer some others there. So just to go back to some of the others. So this one's quite powerful and strong. It's got a lot of pattern, a lot of colour. You can see how the watercolour behaves differently. We've got this one, which, oh, no we haven't. Oh, here we are. Again, this is with the inks from yesterday, so we've got, you know, more subdued colour. This is more patternful, full of patterns. And then this one is confining the patterns to circles, like a geode, and then in the shape. So I'm going to just there we go. Whee! There's my light behind me. I've not got it on today. So yeah, so hopefully I'm going to go off now because I know I'm way past my time. But yeah, it's quite bright. It's not as vibrant. You can see all the differences, can't you? They're the Dye-Reevely ones, the Dilutions. These are the Pentart and Dilutions. You can see colours. Then Pentart on different paper. Can you see how the blending looks better? And then this one's on watercolour paper, and you can see the blending's much nicer. But it doesn't matter, because once you start building up on there, it's cool. Yeah, I really thank you for your time with me. I really do appreciate it, because I know we've all got things to do, but it's time for you to take time for yourself, and I try and do that every day at 12. Can you believe it's a year now I've been doing it? Like Barbara, she's been doing it a year. I've not done it every day, obviously, but yeah, so it has helped. Please, when you are looking at work and you're doing your own, not just me, but if I mention an artist, would you please just make sure that you put that name in, only because it's nice to reference work, and people that can then go to it. If you haven't already subscribed, can you go to my website, to my YouTube channel, which is LouTube01, and subscribe to that, and then I can start my next part. And all the stuff that I used today is in the Craft Stash links there, so you can go straight to the Craft Stash and straight to Craft Stash, and all of them there that you can just buy. And I will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock sharp with, I'm hoping to get a new phone soon, with some different shapes. Alright, so I will keep, sorry, I thought someone was at the door. I will keep doodling, you keep moodling, and I will see you tomorrow. I want to see what you've done, and thank you. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, bye. Oh, I'm going to my room. All right, bye-bye.